They took our future. The sun was warm over Colorado's Highland Valley Elementary School, casting long golden rays over the field trip buses lined up outside the Earth and Space Museum. Children laughed, clutched lunches, and pointed excitedly at the towering rocket mock-ups and robotic exhibits. Among them, Zura Thorne, just 8 years old, adjusted her holographic wristband, her bright eyes scanning the interactive map. She didn't know she was being watched. High above the stratosphere, a Eric scout frigate hovered cloaked. Inside, Commander Archital observed the school group, his mandibles twitching. "This batch will do," he hissed in his native tongue. "Healthy, strong emotional bond potential. Begin the harvest." The sky split open. A silver rift, silent and seamless, appeared above the museum. From it, black orbs dropped like rain, floating silently before emitting shimmering pulses. Time seemed to slow. Children froze mid-laugh. Teachers and chaperones screamed. Zura turned to run. The air shimmered. The black orbs pulsed again. Then they vanished, along with every child in the courtyard. General Myra Thorne stared at the screen in silence. She had reviewed the security footage at least 50 times. The video ended the same way. Her daughter's form flickering out of existence, surrounded by panicked adults too slow to stop it. UN officials had convened in Geneva. Alien ambassadors expressed shock and deep regret. Nothing else. No demands. No ransom. Just children taken. Across the globe, it was the same. Over 30,000 children, aged 4 to 12, gone in under 18 minutes. Cities from New York to Nairobi, Karachi to Kyoto, were plunged into mourning and rage. Diplomats urged patience. Myra offered them silence. Instead, she opened a secure line buried beneath Earth's deepest satellite network, one only 5 people even knew existed. Her voice was cold steel as she spoke into the encrypted terminal. "Activate Operation Ember." Inside a mountain base hidden beneath Antarctica's frozen crust, long-dormant systems flickered to life. Black Site Phoenix had been built for one reason: Earth's final retaliation if its future was ever stolen. Dr. Elias Kent, head of experimental warfare, received the code phrase. He didn't ask for confirmation. "Extinction-level contingency," he muttered, entering commands with trembling fingers. God help them. On a barren moon orbiting Eric Prime, Commander Archital reviewed the captured specimens. The children were held in sterile containment fields, sedated intact. His species had long coveted human emotional energy for cognitive enhancement research. Children, especially, were highly potent, a raw source of neural energy and fear resonance. His second-in-command approached. "So, Earth has not responded militarily. Perhaps they are as soft as predicted." Archital clicked thoughtfully. "Perhaps. But ensure the holding cells are reinforced. Their history suggests they are not as civilized as they pretend." In her private quarters at UN Central Command, Myra sat at her daughter's empty bed. Zura's favorite stuffed lion, worn and patched, lay untouched. Myra wasn't weeping. She was remembering. She remembered the pirate siege on Mars Colony 4. She remembered the evacuation of Europa's children during the methane storms. She remembered what she had done to protect lives then, and what she was capable of now. Earth had been tolerant, patient, diplomatic, but not anymore. The world turned. Quietly, humanity prepared. Military satellites reoriented. AI-controlled drone fleets synced in orbital silence. Fleets cloaked in neutron-dampening shields slipped out from beneath the oceans. Every human nation, regardless of borders, fed their best soldiers and tech into the Ember Protocol. Earth's leaders met not to argue, but to swear one oath: never again. A week later, an unknown signal was received by the Eric Coalition's outer listening posts. It bypassed all encryption, playing across every screen, broadcast tower, and neural feed. It was a woman's voice. "Calm, human. You abducted our children. You made your choice. Now hear ours. Prepare for extinction." Operation Ember ignites. The first retaliation struck without warning. A Eric warship construction facility, located in the Kesari asteroid belt, disintegrated in an instant. No energy signature. No warning shot. One moment, it was a thriving industrial hub with thousands of workers and 3 new dreadnoughts in production. The next, it was dust drifting through vacuum, scattered by an unknown force. The Eric called it sabotage. Earth called it the beginning. Beneath the ice caps of Antarctica, the command hub of Operation Ember was fully active. Blue-white holoscreens displayed alien star charts, stolen military intel, and known child containment facilities spread across the Eric outer sectors. But at the center of the room stood General Myra Thorne, face cold, jaw tight, eyes burning. Dr. Elias Kent entered quietly, holding a datapad. The Kesari strike was clean. No human casualties. Our new Gravitolens warhead worked. Good, Myra said without looking at him. Next target. He hesitated. Eric listening post on Garoon. They've started triangulating Earth fleet signatures. We need to erase them before they understand our tech. Myra nodded. Do it. Make it look like a natural event. I want them afraid of their own stars. Across human colonies and Earth nations, fear turned to unity. Rivalries were forgotten. Borders dissolved. Scientists shared forbidden research. Generals handed over command to Myra without question. Every parent, every soldier, every citizen understood one thing. This wasn't politics. This was personal. Children were Earth's soul, and that soul had been attacked. Meanwhile, on Eric Station Theta 6, buried within a gas giant's magnetosphere, hundreds of abducted human children were held in containment. Each was tagged, sedated, and watched. But something had changed. The sedatives weren't working on all of them anymore, especially not Zara Thorne. She had stopped pretending to sleep. Each day, she listened. She observed guard patterns. She counted the minutes between patrols, watched where they placed the food cubes, and memorized every inch of the cell field's flicker. Her mother had once told her, never panic. Panic belongs to prey. Zara wasn't prey. Back on Earth, Myra stood before a secured war table showing alien positions. We don't have their numbers, one commander argued. We don't need them, Myra replied. We have earthborn minds and desperation. And desperation makes monsters. She gestured to the screen. We bleed them one colony at a time. We don't fight conventionally. We fight mythically. They need to believe we are unstoppable. If they think death is mercy, they'll hand us back our children just to survive. Kent added, Project Harbinger is ready. A heavy silence fell. Project Harbinger had been locked away for 2 decades, an AI hybrid general forged from Earth's most brilliant tacticians and combat data. Too cold, too ruthless, too effective. Unleash it, Myra said. We're past mercy. The next attack wasn't a fleet, it was information warfare. A dozen Eric planetary networks were hijacked. Their children's education systems began playing Earth nursery rhymes. Their newsfeed showed videos of laughing human children, their names whispered in the native Eric tongue. Every broadcast ended with the same message. You took ours. We will take everything. Commander Arcatau watched the transmissions in disbelief. He'd underestimated them. Everyone had. The humans had no central galactic position, no great fleet power, no alliance backing. But now their attacks were coordinated, precise, and unpredictable. Weiss, some alien allies were beginning to question the Eric's actions. They hadn't expected humanity to respond this quickly. They hadn't expected Earth to go feral. Begin evacuation protocols on low-value outposts, Arcatau ordered. Earth will tire eventually. But one of his officers, a younger female with shimmering carapace ridges, replied with hesitation. They won't tire, Commander. They'll burn everything. On the dark side of Earth's moon, Myra stared through a viewport at the stars. Her comm pinged. A transmission from deep space. An encrypted signal from Project Harbinger. She opened it. A voice, calm and genderless, filled the room. Phase 2 initiated. Collateral minimized. Psychological impact, maximum. Estimated surrender probability, 0.3%. Estimated extinction compliance, 86%. Myra closed her eyes for a moment. Begin Phase 3, she whispered. Far away, In the dark holding cells of Theta 6, Zura pressed her small palm to a control node she had finally cracked open, and the lights in her cell began to dim, one by one. Every child is our own. The Eric homeworld of Vernactel was once a monument to galactic power. Towering crystal spires shimmered across cities that stretched for miles, and the skies buzzed with sleek merchant craft. Now, those same skies were silent, and the streets stood empty. The humans had arrived, but not with armies. They brought silence, disruption, erasure. Entire Eric data networks were collapsing. Monumental archives, cultural centers, and ancestral databases were vanishing, digitally wiped, physically dismantled, one after another. Centuries of history, stolen back in less than a week. They called it war. Humanity was calling it judgment. Zura Thorn crawled through a maintenance tunnel deep within Station Theta 6. Her hands were scraped. Her lungs burned. But she kept going. She disabled 2 field nodes, short-circuited a hallway camera, and left breadcrumbs for other kids to follow. A small group now moved behind her, frightened but alert. Kids from across Earth, Brazil, India, Nigeria, Poland, united by fear, now led by a child who refused to wait for rescue. "We're not waiting anymore," Zura whispered, face streaked with grease. "We save ourselves." Back on Earth, General Myra Thorne stood before a global transmission array. Her face, carved from ice and fire, was broadcast to every Eric system. She spoke calmly, clearly, in fluent Eric dialect. "We do not want your resources. We do not want your territories. We only want our children. Return them, or you will cease to be remembered." She cut the feed. No demands, no pleas, just a promise. Moments later, 10 Eric noble estates on the planet Kurtanak went up in flames, simultaneously. No survivors. The message was reinforced. Nowhere was safe. The Galactic Concord, a neutral coalition of over 70 species, called an emergency session. Ambassador after ambassador took the floor, voices trembling. Earth's retaliation wasn't just military, it was myth-making. Their tactics had fused terror with precision. Civilian targets were left untouched, but symbolic power was crushed. Eric diplomats called it disproportionate. The Concord remained silent. Then a signal came through, a message from the children. Zura had done it. Using a salvage transmitter and improvised wiring, she'd hacked into the Eric communications band. Every screen, every data panel across the system flickered. A child's voice broke through. "My name is Zura Thorne. I am 8 years old. You took me from my home. You hurt my friends. But we're still here, and we're not afraid of you." Then came a chorus, dozens of children, from dozens of nations, speaking their names, their ages, and saying, "My name is name. I want to go home." Across alien space, millions watched in stunned silence. The brutal propaganda had told them the children were criminals, terrorists, mutants. Now they saw the truth. Innocent voices, brave and unbroken. Commander Arcatal sat alone in his war room, watching the playback. For the first time, his claws trembled. "They've turned the galaxy against us," his aide said quietly. "No," Arcatal muttered. "They've made us irrelevant." Some of his own officers had defected, helping the children escape or leaking coordinates to Earth. One by one, allies began withdrawing. Even Krenvac, Eric's long-standing partner species, issued a statement. "We do not stand with those who steal the young." Arcatal activated the Omega Protocol, a last-ditch directive to destroy the research stations before human forces could reclaim them. If he couldn't use the children, he would erase them. But Earth had been listening. Project Harbinger, Earth's rogue tactical AI, had intercepted the command chain. Within minutes, it hijacked Theta 6 systems, locking out Eric's self-destruct functions and turning their own defense mechs against them. Then came the boots. Black-armored Earth Marines stormed through the station corridors, armor hissing, weapons glowing blue in the dark. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. Room by room, they cleared the station, led by Myra Thorne herself. When she breached the detention center and saw Zura standing beside a group of wide-eyed children, Her heart clenched, but she didn't run. Not yet. Zura stepped forward calmly. You came, she said. Myra dropped to one knee and opened her arms. Always. Within an hour, over 4,000 children were rescued from Station Theta 6 and other satellite facilities. Dozens of others remained unaccounted for. But now, Earth had momentum. They weren't just hunting slavers anymore. They were dismantling an empire, one stolen child at a time. Extinction Protocol. The vast expanse of the Uric homeworld, Vernactel, lay under siege, not by armies, but by an invisible hand rewriting history. Cities once vibrant with light and life now flickered dimly, their archives erased, their cultural memory stripped away. General Myra Thorne watched the unfolding destruction from the command bridge of the Earth flagship Resolute. Her gaze was cold and steady as holographic images showed vast stretches of terraforming drones releasing nanites that dissolved infrastructure, wiped data cores, and neutralized communication arrays. We're not ending their species, Myra said softly. We are erasing their existence. The Extinction Protocol was the final phase of Operation Ember, a surgical obliteration of the Uric's legacy. Earth's goal wasn't genocide. It was obliteration of identity. No history, no culture, no unity. Without their past, the Uric would wither and fracture. Dr. Elias Kent stood beside Myra, reading reports. Terraforming drones have neutralized 96% of Uric cultural sites. Language databases, libraries, even religious archives, gone. Myra nodded. They targeted our children. We returned the favor, on their pride and memory. Meanwhile, on Vernactel, the once proud Commander Archetal sat shackled in an Earth detention facility. The fierce alien who had ordered the abductions now faced his judgment. Myra entered the chamber. Her voice was steady but laced with steel. You destroyed families. You believed you could steal our future. Archetal hissed. I did what was necessary for survival. Myra's eyes darkened. Survival without honor is extinction. You will live, not dead, but remembered only as a prisoner. As a warning. Far from the battlefield, the rescued children, led by Zura Thorne, were being cared for in a secure Earth facility. Despite the horrors, Zura had grown quieter, wiser. Her courage inspired the others. One evening, Myra sat beside her daughter, the silence thick between them. Why don't we wipe them out completely? Zura asked softly. Myra smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from Zura's face. Because extinction isn't always death. Sometimes, it's never being remembered. We're not monsters. We're the ones who decide what justice means. Zura nodded, understanding more than her years should allow. Back in the galactic arena, the impact was undeniable. The Galactic Concord imposed new laws, protecting the children of all species with the strongest enforcement arm Earth had ever wielded. The message was clear. Touch the children of another, and you will answer to humanity. Earth had become both shield and sword. In the quiet aftermath, Myra returned to the stars. Her eyes scanned distant horizons. One day, she thought, peace would come. But until then, Earth would fight, not just for survival, but for the future.